In my restless dreams, I see another poor video game adaptation. Return to Silent Hill just dropped in theaters, and for those of you that are huge fans of the video game series, such as myself, specifically Silent Hill 2, which this movie is based off of, you were more than excited when this dropped. But when we got those first few trailers, we all just kinda knew. And for those of you that don't know, Return to Silent Hill is based off of the second video game in the Silent Hill franchise, Silent Hill 2. There is a remastered version for the PS5. And there are two other versions, one on the PS2 and one on the original Xbox. Basically, this game follows this guy named James who has to go back to Silent Hill after he gets a letter from his supposedly dead wife. And it's about his transcendence into hell, and all this crazy stuff starts happening when he goes back to Silent Hill. Silent Hill is this place that him and his supposedly dead wife went to when they were younger, and he goes back and it's all gone to hell. There's creatures everywhere. There's nobody there except for a couple people, and the game is really good. The game is amazing. But this movie, on the other hand, they tweak so much stuff for no reason. They took out stuff and they added stuff that did nothing for the story. They took out things that were very important in the video game, and a lot of it just kind of makes no sense. So we're going to start right off the rip here with the casting choice. Jeremy Irvine plays James in this, and he honestly looks nothing like the character James. And when I saw that in the trailer, I was like, But I mean, I can look past that. And actually, his performance in this is decent enough for what it is. I mean, he really... There's not much character development here. He's pretty much just distraught and sad the whole time. And towards the end, he turns like a little psychotic and crazy, which he does not do in the game. And it does nothing for the story. So I didn't really understand what that was about. And Jeremy Irvine, nothing against him, but I think the only movie I remember him from is Warhorse, and I looked it up, and that was like his first major movie, and I've never really seen him in anything else. So when I saw he was being casted in something as big as Silent Hill, I was a little bit thrown off by it. And Christopher Gans is the director for this movie, and he directed the 2006 movie Silent Hill, which is loosely based off of the first video game in this franchise, and that movie is not that bad. It's not bad. There's a second one called Silent Hill Revelations, which sucks. And this movie is neck and neck with Revelations. The movie opens up with like this 90s, 2000s kind of love scene, how James meets his wife Mary, and it was kind of stupid in my opinion. Like, it was pretty unnecessary to add to the movie. It just basically showed how they were at Silent Hill, which they didn't put in the game. Now, one of the cool things that I liked in this movie, and this movie pretty much, this is one of the only positives of this movie, is the scenes from the game that they put in the film. Like when James walks into Silent Hill at first and he walks past the Welcome to Silent Hill sign. I thought that was pretty cool. But a lot of the scenes that are in this that are based from the video game, they more so just feel like fan service type stuff. And if you're not someone who played the video games and you're just going into this as a movie, loosely a movie, it really does nothing for you. It does something for me as a positive because I'm such a big fan of the game. So seeing that in a movie, I was like, oh, okay, wow, that's actually really cool. Going into this as someone who hasn't seen or hasn't played the game, it just really doesn't do anything for that viewer. And that also brings me to my other point. There's going to be two types of people watching this movie: the people that play the games and the people that haven't and are just watching this as a movie. And in terms of video game adaptations, there isn't really any good ones that have made good movies. There's a very select few. And that kind of sucks because when something like this happens, I get very excited. You know, I tell my friends and family, I'm like, Silent Hill's coming out. And they're like, what the hell is that? I'm like, no, it's based off this really good game. And now that this has come out, you don't want them to see that movie because then they're going to see it and be like, wow, you're a fucking idiot. How the fuck do you think that's any good? But basically, this movie from start to finish is just very CGI filled and green screen filled. Like almost every scene, it just looks like it's the actor, and he's just like, it's very obvious that where he's supposedly walking through or interacting with, the environment is just not real. It's so digitized. And I saw that in the trailer, and I figured that's how it was going to be. Because, I mean, Silent Hill is a very fictional world, especially when they turn in the video game and in the movie when they go from like reality to like the hell side of that reality. I guess it is hard to make it practical or more real looking, but this movie is just overly CGI'd. It's a mess. Everything is so clearly fake, and it's really hard for you to engage and get immersed in a world that doesn't feel real at all. There is little to no practical effects throughout this whole movie. The monsters in themselves are cool if you're a video game fan. They're more so, like I said, fan services. Like Pyramid Head's in here, but he's in here for like 3 minutes. Abstract Daddy's in here. The nurses are in there. The no-armed guys walking around the streets are in here. But I think throughout the whole movie, James only has like one interaction where he kills one of them. And besides that, he's just running away. And there's like no boss battles. There's like 4 or 5 boss battles in Silent Hill 2. There's none in this movie. They just planted them in the movie. So fans of the video game can be like, oh wow, I remember that. That's awesome. And that is just kind of a slap in the face for fans of the video game. I don't think that the director or anybody behind this movie is actually fans of the game or understands the lore, because basically they just tried to give people what they think they wanted and didn't improve or really do any sort of service in terms of storytelling. And then in this movie they add like this weird cult thing with Mary, and that's not even part of the game, and there's like 2 kind of plot lines going on here, and it's just a mess. And then you want to talk about the pacing of this movie. Jesus Christ, the pacing is absolutely horrible. One, they try to cram like a 15-hour game into an hour and a half. They keep doing all these flashbacks back to how things were before Silent Hill went to hell, and it's all just useless. It ruins the flow. You know, even if you think you're starting to get immersed, which is very unlikely, they just cut it to like sunshine and rainbows, James with his girlfriend. Oh, by the way, in this movie, she's not even his wife. She is now his girlfriend, and which kind of takes away from a lot of the meaning. Wife and girlfriend are 2 completely different things. And then yeah, back to the cult thing. Like what the hell even is that? You just introduced a bunch of these cult characters who really have no meaning at all, and you change the whole reason that what happened to Mary happened to Mary. And honestly, this movie gave me a ton of 2000s horror vibes, and a lot of the scenes will like make your head hurt. A lot of the scenes are James running with a flashlight, and it just looks like this all over the screen, like for a lot of the movie, and it's really annoying. A lot of 2000s horror type effects and vibes. It feels like it did not come out in 2026. I heard that the budget for this movie wasn't like super high, but I mean, come on, it's still in the millions of dollars here. And then to add, in the video game there are side characters, Eddie, Angela, and Maria, to go along James's journey. And they are just thrown in this movie for like 2 minutes. Eddie says one thing, and that's it. And in the video game there's a lot more of Eddie. There's like a boss battle with Eddie too. And he's just in the game, once again, for fans to be like, oh, I know that guy. And then Angela and Maria, they use the same actress that plays Mary for all 3 of them. And then back to Pyramid Head. What they did with Pyramid Head in this movie is fucking disgraceful. There's a scene, they literally show who is inside Pyramid Head, which gives away the meaning behind Pyramid Head, which they do not do in the game at all. It's more so for you, use your imagination and your thoughts to kind of connect all these things. No, they just spoon feed you these things, And it takes away any of the elements that make the game so great. And the video game is a psychological thriller. This movie, they really fail to do anything with the psychological stuff. They ruin it by explaining all the psychological stuff to you. So it's kind of like you're really not that scared because you understand. You're like, oh yeah, that makes sense. There are, I guess, a couple okay scares in this movie. It's not really scary. I feel like people are going to go to this, they're like, oh, it's a horror movie. It could be scary. It's not at all. This movie is just such a disservice to fans like myself. And, one day you got to hope that they're going to fix video game adaptation movies. The source material is like they put it on a plate for you and then they just change all these things. I don't understand why directors are doing that. And then the iconic scenes in the video game, they barely explore in this. I think the best section of this movie is in the apartments because they're kind of in it for a little bit. And Eddie's there and Pyramid's head is there. And that is probably where the most practical effects in the movie are. Or the most real setting, because 90% of this movie, the setting that the actors are walking on is not real. This part, it looks real, at least. That's the best section of this movie, and it's like 10 minutes. And after that, it's like, Jesus Christ, when is this going to be over? I did think that the scene with the nurses was cool. But that, once again, the nurses are in the movie for probably 45 seconds. And then James goes up an elevator, and you never see them again. But yeah, this movie, they changed the ending. Spoiler, I'm just going to say the ending right now. James fucking kills himself with Mary in the car. They drive into the lake in front of the hotel and kill themselves. And that is just like, what the fuck? Like, that is not what fucking happens. And then also, more spoilers, in the game, Mary is sick, right? She has whatever disease. And James just like can't deal with it anymore, so he fucking kills her. But in this movie, they make it all sentimental, and she's like, kill me, James. Kill me, please. And then he fucking does it. And that just like kind of takes away of him grieving and feeling guilty throughout his whole adventure because he knows what he did, when in reality now, in the movie, this is what she wanted. So, it's just, oh my god, this movie, it pisses me off. I was so excited for this movie and it fucking sucks. This easily, it's January, and this is definitely going to be in my top 10 worst movies of the year. I just hope that one day they can just get this right. There's been 3 Silent Hill movies now. 2 of them have fucking been terrible. The first one even, they still changed the narrative slightly in the first movie, but that movie wasn't that bad. There was more practical effects in that movie. That movie didn't look like a fucking CGI clusterfuck. But, beggars can't be choosers, I guess. But Hollywood, they really have to fix this shit. And they have to stop CGI fucking green screening everything. Return to Silent Hill, 1 out of 5 stars for me. I really have no more words left to say. It was just so bad. I don't even know. If you haven't seen it, save your money. Wait for it to come to streaming. I'm sure it'll come to streaming ASAP. Probably on fucking... I'm sure it'll be on fucking Pluto TV in a month. So save your money. Don't go and see it. Just replay the game. I want to replay the game now just so I can get that shit out of my fucking head. Yeah, don't recommend this movie to your friends, your family, to anybody like I did, because now I have to tell them, never mind, don't see that. So that's my review on Return to Silent Hill, and I will see you guys in the next video.